My wife took things way too far during a fight, and I don't know what to do. My wife, 28 female, and I, 30 female, have been married for 4 years and together for 5 years. Our relationship started perfectly, but looking back, I think I might have been love-bombed. We fight about once every other week or so, and by fight, I mean a blowout, screaming fight that leads to me Googling divorce lawyers. After those fights, we calm down and everything goes back to normal. We're a typically extremely close couple, we do everything together, and she's my absolute best friend. However, during these fights, things can get out of hand. She tends to be very verbally and emotionally abusive. I suffer from BPD, and early on in our relationships, I would split during fights and take a swing at her, but after therapy and counseling for me specifically, that has stopped and hasn't been an issue at all. I'm 100% aware that physical abuse is unacceptable, and I got the help I needed to manage my mental health issues. Today was a blowout fight. She will occasionally get bored and be in a mood, knowing it will stir up an argument. Today it was me not saying the word patronize properly. We bickered about how to pronounce it, which led to an even bigger fight about who was more educated. That led to her screaming at me that I'm beneath her and all of this other horse crap. We got to the gym, where we headed off to before the fight, and it escalated. She shoved me, and I raised my arm to defend myself but didn't hit her. After a few minutes of screaming, we headed towards home, but here is where things get extreme. I was saying I don't know why she's saying I'm a horrible person when she's had emotional affairs in the past, and I started insulting the girl she was friendly with. That led to me getting punched in the leg, arm, bicep, neck, and face, all while she's driving. I was crying and leaning as far away as I could, and she told me I deserved to be hit because years ago, I hit her in a fight. She said it was payback for how I used to act. Here is the extreme part. We live near a large national park. Instead of pulling into our driveway, this lunatic starts driving towards the national park. I was sobbing, telling her to turn around, but she was laughing. I kept saying, "Take me home. I want to go home. Please turn around." And she said, "Oh, I'm taking you home. It's going to be a different kind of home though," and kept laughing. I threatened to call 911 but had no cell service. She pulled into an empty parking lot for one of the hiking trails and kept taunting me, saying stuff like, "Are you nervous? Let's go on a hike," and reaching for my throat almost like she was kidding. But after being hit so much, I didn't find it funny. I begged and cried, and she just kept laughing. I begged her to take me home, and she pointed at a ditch and said, "How's that for home?" She took my phone and locked it. I kept screaming and crying, and she was like, "What, you don't want to go on a hike with me?" Finally, I got out of the car, but there was nowhere to go, which is why I didn't get out to begin with. She was like, "Just get back in, and we can go home. I just wanted you to talk to me. Now you know how it feels, and we'll see if you ever insult me again." And I was still crying and shaking, and she said, "This should be a lesson for you. Are you done insulting me now?" And I told her she was sick. No normal person does this sort of thing, and she was like, "No, I'm not. You're just overdramatic, and you always take things the wrong way. You know it was a joke, and I thought you'd be laughing. I can't even joke around with you." She just keeps insisting now that she was taking me there to hike because we skipped the gym, and she assumed I'd just get out and hike. She keeps saying, "You know I'd never actually hurt you. Don't be ridiculous. Someone, please tell me this isn't normal. I feel like I'm in the twilight zone, and I have no friends or family to talk to." She has severe anxiety and is bipolar, so I feel like I'm obligated to cut her more slack. This seemed too far this time. It's never been this bad.